All right, let's see where we're at. So here's the game. Here's our rules, and I was looking up under cleanup. I wanted to see if it had phase 8, which is balance implemented, which is where a tile can permit a certain amount of cubes, and if you're past that cube limit at this in phase 8, it'll remove down cubes and to get down to that limit. So let's go to Gemini. Let's go ahead and upload the file. Just put on canvas for later when we actually start doing stuff. And let's prompt. In this game, I wanted to check if phase 8 was implemented. The phase 8 is called balance. Just answer my question. Do not generate any code. Do not generate an action plan. Just answer the question after reviewing the code. I'm going to go ahead and upload the rule book for context. And what I'm going to do there is go ahead and copy what I've written so far so that I can paste it back in, put it in the clipboard, delete it, and continue prompting. I've included the game and the rule book so you can see what phase 8 actually does. Okay, then I'm going to go to the front of the thing, front of the sentence, and go ahead and paste that back in. And let's see what our results will say. There's a really cool way that I've dealt with it in the game. Like pretty much you look and see if everybody is, if all the cubes there go over the limit for that hex, which is a biome, and then if it's over, then you remove one from everybody, and then you'll look at the number again until you meet the number.
Yes, Phase 8 is implemented, but it is automated rather than interactive. In the code provided, the logic for Phase 8 exists within the function run end phases. How it works in your code: instead of stopping the game to let players manually remove cubes, the code automatically runs a loop on every tile immediately after Phase 7 finishes. It checks the tile's limit, e.g., marsh equals 5. If the total cubes exceed the limit, it removes one cube from every player present on that tile. It repeats this process until the total count is equal to or less than the limit. This happens instantly before the round X start message appears.
Okay, so I have several questions. And again, you're not allowed to write code or write an action plan until I ask for it. But the question is, in phase 8, where do those cubes go when they're removed? Also, if you'll look through the rules, there's several times, like in combat or whenever cubes are removed, there's a distinction whether they're removed from the game or they're returned to a supply that the players can draw from. I want to make sure that the instances that happens in the game are correct and are the same in the rulebook. Meaning, the rulebook is the definitive answer, and if the game violates what the rulebook says, I need to know about it. Please take a look. Yeah, I didn't have to ask please, but as the research says, being kind to earlier versions of LLMs produced a better outcome, so why not be a little bit polite? But I guarantee when it messes up, I really lose my crap and I start cussing in the prompt window. It doesn't help me, but I do it. Let's see.
Based on a review of the code mild 4 fixed 4, HTML and the Rulebook Conflict of Plants Rules 2.0 linked to .pdf, here are the findings regarding cube removal. 1. Phase 8, Balance, Rulebook, page 16. Removing one player cube of every player on the tile and placing it back on its owner's player mat. Current code. The code inside run end phases decreases the count on the tile, cubes, color, but it does not add those cubes back to the player's supply, players, color, cubes. Verdict. The code violates the rules. In the code, phase 8 cubes are permanently destroyed, removed from the game, whereas the rules state they should be returned to the player's supply to be used again. 2. Grass Action, Combat, Rulebook, page 11, selects one player cube from each opponent, and removes them from the game. Current code. The code decreases the count on the tile without adding them to the player's supply. Verdict. Correct. The code correctly destroys these cubes. 3. Weed Action, Rulebook, page 14. This player cube is removed from the game. Current code. The code decreases the count on the tile without adding them to the player's supply. Verdict. Correct. The code correctly destroys these cubes. Summary of discrepancy. The only violation occurs in phase 8. The game engine currently treats balancing the same as combat, weed, permanent removal, but the rules explicitly state that balancing returns cubes to the player's available supply.
Let's write an action plan to an AI coder to correct that within the rules. The AI coder is stateless, meaning they will not have any information about the game other than the current code and your action plan. Make sure all snippets of code will be provided by you in the action plan. Also, make sure there's no ambiguity. We do not want the AI coder to think. We just want them to construct. The less thinking they do, the less likely we will have deviations from the action plan. I don't remember if I asked to have that action plan done in Canvas, so I'll go ahead and delete that. Make sure to make the action plan in Canvas. All right, let's see what happens. Cross your fingers. I don't have to go round and round with it to make an action plan. Hopefully it just doesn't start coding. It's really aggravating me how proactive AI is, just jumps into coding. All right, so we've got an action plan. Awesome. Looks pretty good. Add to the action plan a verification action plan. We'll hand the original and the modified version to a verifier. We'll compare the two types of code, and then using the action plan, they'll see what was changed. Also, add a step in the verification to look at the other code that wasn't modified and make sure nothing was added or removed. And if anything was, we'll go ahead and reject that code and start all over. Okay, let's prepare another tab for the next step. Since they're writing the action plan, this tab is going to be the coder. We'll go ahead and upload the file that they'll be looking at. All right, so we've got the action plan for the fixing of phase 8. I believe it's phase 8. Yeah, phase 8. Let's go ahead and do some other things. I would like to have a step where the players know exactly what happened in phase 8 and that phase 8 occurred. Kind of like the scoring points that we have in there. We want it to run like the modal does for scoring points, but this time it's for balance for phase 8. Go ahead and add that to the action plan so it can do both at the same time. All right, so while they're doing that, let's go ahead and look at the original action plan. If I have it, here we go. In milestone 5, which we haven't really covered, which we need to do all this stuff here, input guardrails, visual feedback. We're kind of doing that right now. Game over logic, which we haven't done in the game yet. They're still writing the action plan. All right, so what we're going to do here is we're going to go ahead and copy the contents. We'll give it to the coder. We'll make sure canvas is on. Make sure you're on pro model because you don't want to have to redo all this. Paste the action plan for the coder. Allow them to go. We're going to keep the, we're going to call this our technical lead, which will be doing this AI will be doing all the manufacturing of the action plans. But what we're going to do here, we'll use fast because that's the free model. We'll go ahead and give them the game. We'll give them the rules. I want to add some visuals to this game. Your job will be to give me a list of possible candidates, which would be icons and emojis and stuff that you have available to you for the various things in the game that do not have the visuals, such as all the tokens. Like everything needs the visuals and we don't have it yet. So give me a list, look at the rule book and give me a list of what we're going to use as icons. And if there's several to choose from, go ahead and put them in the list and go ahead and label them starting with A through whatever so that we can make choices. And go ahead and label each of the choices with a number. That way we know we can just tell you 1, we want B, 2, we want D, and so on. And do this in Canvas. Okay, so we'll open Canvas. And let's see what happens. See what kind of list it gives us of emojis to choose from for later. We're still writing code. So while that one's writing code, we'll go ahead and wait for this. Cool. I like the red foot. So A is 1 for sure. So 1, A. Grass. Let's do B. So it'd be 2, B. 3, seed. I like 1. So we'll do 3, C. Water's A. So what is that? 4, A. And then 5. Weed. Bamboo is the closest. If I go back to here, I would rather do potted plant, but sprout, yeah, let's do, this is supposed to be wilted flower, so we'll do A. 5 will do A. It looks funky though. Wind. This is a funky looking icon, this dash away. Oh, this little face blowing wind. So maybe we'll do 6, B. Oh, we're starting to get a little bit of lag. So that means the code is almost done. Okay, so that's there for, what do they call these? Actions. And then the next part will be, what are we doing here? Regions. Let's look at the code. Oh, code's still generating. Where are we at? Oh, we're done. Cool. We're gonna look at the code, copy it. We're going to add another whatchamacallit, another tab. Make sure we're in Pro. Upload the original file. Here's the original file. Here is the updated file. Don't do anything with them until I give you further instructions. Then we'll put quotes, paste the code in. So now it's got both code. Hopefully he doesn't do anything. We'll see. Here's the verification plan. Go here, copy it, get ready. Compare both files. And then give them the verification action plan thing. See if it works. We have a pass, which is cool. Go back to the code. Now we'll copy the code again. We'll put it in our little webpad ++. And then let's go ahead and save it. Let me put it in the proper place. Let me copy it and paste it into the proper place. And then we'll check it out. It just takes a second to navigate to the right place, which is Gemini stream, conflict of plants. Rename. All right, we got all that set up. 2-player. Okay, so we want to get to the balance step, so I'm just going to haul ass through this stuff. One moment. Let's haul ass through it. All right. We'll put 4 cubes for M in the foot. Go there. We're really not well, we're sort of not caring. Oh, it's one of these two, so we'll add them here. Skip. Okay, grass. Put a grass icon there. Water, we'll put a water there. Calculate score. Proceed to page 7. Now we're doing majorities. Boom, there's no majority there. There's majority there. Majority there. No majority there. Okay, so that's all done. Balance. So yeah, it did the balance step. There were 4 dudes here, and it removed it down to 1. It says right here in the polar region, return blue 3. And then that's it. Boom. Cool. All right, so that works. Flips the next token to go. Roll dice were great. Let's make sure that still works. Grass and seed. So one of these, boom, switched it. Awesome. Everything seems to be working, which is awesome. Let's finish choosing here. We're at the regions, conflict. We'll do the conflict tile. Let's do A. So we'll go 1A. We can do this faster. So we're at 1A, copy. Two C, 3A, 4A, 5A, 6A, 7B. Yeah, it didn't help me out. It was 2C. That wasn't any faster. I shouldn't have done it this way. 4. What did we choose on 4? 4. This is a funky one. I wanted to change it anyway. So 4, we're going to do a cow for a pasture. And then we're going to do 5, which is A. 6A, 7B. All right, white tokens. We're going to say 1A. This is okay, 1A. This is a tough one. Multipliers. This is going to be like grass. So we'll go back to grass and see what we chose for grass. Not there. This grass token, which is this one. So we're actually going to change it to stalks of grain. So 1A, 2 maybe stalks of grain. Yeah, 2. We'll say 2 stalks of grain. We'll also say but with multi. Put that in parentheses. Hopefully it'll get it. If not, we'll fix it, but I think it'll get it. Multi. That was 2. All right, so on now we'll go metadata. Meta is victory points. We're going to use 1A. Cubes, we'll use packages. So we'll use 2A and 3 action stack. We'll use, I might change my mind about this, but 3A will use cards. All right, now that we've got all that, did I get that right? 2C, 2, oh, I lost some of this crap. All right, so we've got 5A. We did conflict tokens. This was regions because we did 2C, which was 2C. Is that right? Ah, I screwed up. Okay, conflict tokens. Back from conflict tokens, we're talking about regions. I gotta retype all this shit. Regions. One. I wanted A. 2 is C. Okay, then I gotta go back all the way over here and do actions. One will do A. 2 is B. 3 was A. It did a pretty good job of already, like, A is like definitely the best choice in most of them. A. 5 is A. 6, we wanted B. Okay, and then what was before? Nope, that's it. Action tokens, cool. So we're going to copy all that, put it in the clipboard. Okay, go ahead and make me a document that has my selections. Okay, so it's going to hopefully do it all. Then we'll take a look real quick, make sure everything's cool. Marsh's alligator, yeah, that's cool. Desert, yeah, we got all that. That looks right. That looks right. That looks right. It all looks right. Cool. So we'll copy this. Copy. Go ahead and export this to my documents so that I have it in case I lose it. In the game, I would like to go ahead and put the number on each of the regions for how many tokens are allowed on the region, or how many, I guess, I don't like that prompt. Each region has a number. That's the number that it's balanced against. You can look in the rule book and figure out which numbers go on what tiles. Go ahead and add that to the game. And at the same time, we'll want to add this as this document as well that has the icons. I need you to make an action plan. Do not write code. You can write snippets. We're using the same type of coder, which is a stateless AI coder. Make sure the coder doesn't have to think, and go ahead and also write an action plan for the verifier. All right, let's see what he do. And let's look at the game while it's doing that. Okay, so I want to fix the start token to put a star on it and the weed symbol. And then I think we're good once he gets the action plan going. Still being written. Oh. It thinks that we didn't do this phase 8 fix. We've already done the phase 8 fix in the last action plan, and that was already implemented. In fact, here is the new code for you to look at. Hopefully it just doesn't start freaking coding. That'll take me off, man. Don't code. Just write an action plan. Now, if you haven't watched one of the earlier videos or don't know what's going on, why there's so many tabs and whatnot, I want to get a new coder every time I lay down code. We want a stateless coder, meaning we don't want them to know other versions of the code or anything. We want them to know this is the latest working version and here's what we're changing. Because when AI has to look through its memory, it can get lost, and that's how like you get context drift. And having a new coder just ups the percentage of it not screwing up. Like if you look at hallucinations and context drift and context collapse and all that stuff, you can look at it as a percentage game. The more you deal with a specific AI in a prompt, the every time you're upping that percentage, and it's low at first, but then it starts compounding. So in order to, it only matters when you need them to have the context of what you're doing. So if you don't need it to have context, just nip it in the bud and get get it to have the least amount of knowledge of the past as possible. So your percentage is the highest. Okay, so here's the action plan. Let's see what it says. Da-da-da-da.
Gemini said, to ensure the visual identity, icons, and region limits are correctly implemented into the provided mild for fixed for.html, which already contains the Phase 8 fix, I have prepared the following action plan. This plan focuses on updating the data structures for regions and tokens to include the requested emojis and modifying the renderer to display them.
If you look in the latest version of the code, you'll see that the start token just says start on there. So we want to change that start token to maybe have a star on it. Any star will do from the icon list. And we want to have what we use for a white token and grass. So no longer on these tiles, well, not the on the tokens, we want the emojis on the tokens. And when you mouse over, it'll tell you, we also need it to say what the token's name is. Instead of just saying action, remove, blah, 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 you want it to also say in the tooltip what it is and what it does. So instead of just saying action, it needs to say action and then the name and then what it does to each one of the types of tokens. And then on the hexes, we need the icon large on there, what it is. We need the name on the tile, as well as the number that you balance against. For reference, check out the rulebook. It said robot. The other thing that AI is really good at doing is filtering out noise. Like, as a human, I think it's really hard to filter out noise. Like there's probably a lot of misspelled, and it probably changed the words because I'm doing voice to text. Like right there at the end, you're supposed to reference the robot, not the rule book. And I changed that because I just saw that. But if it said robot, it would filter out the noise, and it would put because it uses, basically it's what's the likely word you're going to use here. Since it's all about percentages, it would have changed that to rule book. Especially because it's within context. It's really good at filtering out noise. That's not cool. Check it out. It started coding. So I'm going to copy all this. Remember, there is a mandate in place for you never to code. You can write snippets in the action plan. We already have a coder to do the coding. Your job is to write robust action plans that are not ambiguous, and also have all the snippets of code that the coder will need. Plus, you are here to do a verification action plan as well. Maybe that'll stop it from coding. we don't want it to start spitting out code, man, because if it spits out the code, then we don't have a verification report, and we didn't have the action report. If we had saved them both, then because it coded, we upped the percentage of it losing context, and we can't keep it as who we use to write action plans, because so far they have context of, okay, so we did this in this session, we did this other thing in this session. But having it do what little we're having it do, like write action plans, uses a lot less I want to say a lot less capacity, a lot less compute than writing code. Okay, see, I don't see an action plan here. So because I don't see an action plan, it's possible that it's stuck in the server side and not on our side. So what I'm going to do is copy this in case I have to reprompt it with that. So copy that. Then I'm just going to refresh it and see if the action plan will land in the... Yeah, see? It's there. We couldn't see it, but it's because it's on the server side. There was for some reason, we were not receiving it. Okay, so now we have an action plan. So here's the old coder that coded the last bit. Even though they did a good job, it's about the model. It's not a personality. So upload our code. Make sure Canvas is on. Get our action plan. Make sure we have it. It's always good to go ahead and export that to documents if you have a way to keep it just in case there's a problem. Okay, let's go ahead and give the coders its instructions. Okay, here in the verifier tab, where we have it compare the two versions, we don't have to cycle out, even though it is a stateless, and we could totally cycle in a new one every time. It wouldn't matter. Just for time's sake, I don't, because we're only referencing the last two files. We're saying, check this file out, look at this file, here's the things that we changed, and here's the things that shouldn't change. And then hopefully, it falls within there. Well, that's stateless. We're having it do that over and over. What I used to do is I would make a mandate that I would start it. I would start a new tab, put in there, you're a verifier. This prompt was supposed to make it take on a persona. And I realized that even though it's taken on the persona, it didn't change it from its training. Its training is to be helpful. Its training is to do things. So if your mandate is against its training, it doesn't matter if you have a mandate that tells it specifically don't do this. It'll ignore your mandate because the training is hardcore. I mean, it did whatever task a million times or whatever. So I stopped giving it a persona because all my personas were pretty much to guard against the guardrails they built into it. It also against its training. So my suggestion is, if you're like with a coder, I would say don't change anything that's outside of the action plan. And for the technical lead, I would say don't code, and invariably it would code. And the coder would add stuff and remove stuff it's not supposed to. And I just realized, it's just pain in the butt to start it and give it a persona that it doesn't even care about. So instead, it's more important to worry about, does the information need to stay, or does it always need to be new information? Meaning if it needs stateless, then you can always get a new tab. And of course, for our verifier, we could get a new tab, but what we're asking it to do is very little compute. So I'm just being lazy and not doing it. I think in the future, I've already wrote all this stuff out for people. In the future, what I'm going to do is add that as a step that I've just recently changed, which is just starting a new verifier, because the information they have is brand new. They don't need to know older stuff. I'm excited for the visuals. Let's see where we're at. Awesome. I wish this right here had numbers. I guess if I work on WebPad in the future, I'm gonna make a lesson of just learning how to make WebPad plus and coming up with a good prompt just to build it from scratch. Maybe 2 or 3 prompts. I don't know, because I'm not really about the single prompt. I'm about the construction through multiple prompts and through using several different tabs of AI and making them do different things and making them, I guess, less likely to fail. Because you'd be surprised at how easy it is to fail, once you get 2 or 3 heavy things that it does, like if it coded twice and then you're going for a third code, and then it invariably fails pretty quickly, especially when you're dealing with 1,000+ lines of code. Okay, so we're going to get this. We're going to do, like I said, we'll get we'll make sure it's on Pro. We could probably do thinking model, but since the thinking model and the Pro model cost the same, why not do them both? We're going to go ahead and prompt it. I've given you the original file. Here comes the modified file. Do not do anything with the files until I tell you the next instruction. Go ahead and paste in with parentheses the new code. Give it a few moments. All right, it didn't do anything, which is good. Then we'll go to the verification that we had built over here in the action plan. Copy it, paste it into here. See if I didn't prompt it. Hopefully it'll figure it out because it's already done it before. But if not, then I'll have to prompt it and tell it to compare the two. But it should get it. Yeah, verification. We got pass, verified. The interesting thing is it went a whole different route. Over here, oh, no, we started a different thing. It didn't have that. It was brand new, sorry. And it just figured it out. Cool. Without screwing up. So let's get our code. Let's go ahead and put it in our Web++. All right, it works. Cool. Let's go ahead and save it. Let me go ahead and put it in the right place. Give me a second. All right, let's refresh here. This should be a totally cool looking game, or it's going to look like crap because I screwed it up. Let's see. Wow, that's busy. I'm not used to that. Okay, so we definitely need to make the icons smaller if there's a multiplier, or we need to change the multiplier thing. I'd like the limits to be bigger. I'd like my cube thing to be... It just went wild. Anyway, let's start it and let's check it out. Start. The weed. It didn't change them in this token thing, which we need to fix. This is the weed. We'll put 4 here. Yeah, I don't like that. Okay, so let's go over here and make another action plan. I don't think we need any there's no relevance to anything we've done so far. We can just start all over and say, here's the game, here's what we want to do. But it's kind of cool. It's got all the icons on it. All right, so let's go ahead and we'll get a new technical lead. Go to Pro, go to Canvas, upload the latest version, upload the PDF. In this game, we just recently added some icons. The icons on the hexes cover up where the tokens would go, so we can use smaller icons above where the number things are in the middle, and the name of the hex underneath that. You don't need to write the word limit. You can just put a number. Instead of limit, just put a bigger number 3 or number 5 or number 1, whatever it is, and the icon above the hexes. I think that would be better. In the center where you have the tokens, when you have the modifier makes the icons go off the tokens. So we kind of need to fix that. We need to come up with the way to fix it. The way that I would fix it is put the modifier on top of the icon, but to make sure that the icon either has a white outline with black lettering or opposite that. You're not allowed to code, so don't write any code. We're going to write an action plan. So write me an action plan. We'll get in more detail here in a minute about the action plan. I just wanted to start this so that I can start nitpicking the other stuff too. All right, in the action plan, let's go ahead and when we want 4, we want grass, can be anywhere. We'll put some there, put some there. Seed, which is this one. Okay, so skip. We'll skip all the actions. We'll add a grass there. Add a seed there. Calculate score. Roared majority. Bam. Oh, and there was some other stuff that we saw. I'm glad it flipped them over to the other side because there's stuff that we still need to fix. Which one are we doing? This one. Okay. Balance. Okay, cool. Write the action plan in Canvas. Fortunately, it wrote it in the prompt area. We want it in the Canvas area. We're going to fix the visuals, and then we're going to call it a day. We're so close to finishing. The other thing is, on the white tokens, it seems to have broken the code or something because the tokens are appearing face up. They should be face down, meaning all of them should show grass on one side. And when they get flipped over, they show the other thing and they turn gold, is what we're currently doing. Also, what I've asked is on the starting token that it said the word start on it as along with the star. Instead, let's just put a grass token on there instead of a star, and then we will put, what we're using as an icon for the grass, and we'll put start the same way that we did the multiplier as far as the outline, and whatever will just stay consistent. Also, when we're actually taking actions in the The little box there where we do our actions on the right side, it looks like a modal, but it isn't a modal. It's just an area on the right side top where we actually do the actions. Whenever you're drawing from your deck, it's old version where it doesn't show the icon. We want it to just show the icon, and when you mouse over that, we want it to show the tooltip like it does when you normally mouse over an icon on the game board. Okay, so hopefully it'll add that to the action plan. Hopefully it just doesn't start coding, because I didn't say add this to the action plan. My bad. If it starts coding, we'll just stop it and then put it on the right path. It's kind of scary, just because I don't want it to start coding. I hate when it does that. While we're waiting, let's go ahead and get new guy there, new guy there. See? Started coding. I knew it. When you stop it, it leaves the last message that you put in the prompt area. So I'm going to copy that. Your job is to write an action plan. Here are my instructions. No, I don't like that prompt. Write an action plan. No. Here's some more things that we need to change, so add this to the action plan. Do not write any code, just add this to the action plan. You know, another little trick I found is the do you understand? It's almost like a checklist for it. If you say something and say, do you understand? It's a checklist. It's, if I would have said something like, I need you to do this. Do you understand? I need you to do this. Do you understand? I need you to do this. Do you understand? It would read it more like a checklist instead of me trying to get it to tell me a definition of what I asked it to do. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, so again, it says it made the action plan, but I don't see anything. So it's probably on the server. Maybe. There it is. Cool. We've got that. Let's continue looking. Is there anything else we can think of real quick? I don't think so. All right, so now that we've got that, in the action plan, I need it to be made for an AI coder that's stateless. So what you need to do is make sure it has all the code it would need. So write any snippets, and also make sure there's no ambiguity. Also write a detailed layout verification for the AI coder. I mean the AI verifier, because they are also an AI. Basically, they'll get the modified version and the original version and compare the two. Make sure nothing outside of the scope of what we asked it to do has been changed. And make sure that the AI coder doesn't go outside of our action plan. Okay, so it's possible that it'll just start coding. It might think itself needs to be a coder and it'll just start coding. I hope not. That's what I hate the most about the way they train these models. Awesome. Check it out. Check it out. This is good. This is really good. Hopefully it's going to leave us in a state where we can start it again and finish it the next time. Or we're getting close. Okay, so we'll get the action plan. We'll take it to the coder. We'll put this on canvas. We'll go to the pro model. We'll make sure it has the file. We're anxiously awaiting. Okay, so we're starting the code. We'll get the verifier ready, get them set up, make sure they're on pro. Remember, they could probably be on thinking. Go ahead and get that file ready to upload. We'll wait for the code. Go here to the icons. What we should do is out here somewhere, maybe have the icons and the name, so like you would totally figure out what it is. It's a shock to the system seeing it this way compared to the way it was, because it's like it's all visual now and I'm not used to that. So let me tell you while we're waiting, I can tell you about one of the things I did today. We're learning a song by a band named Akrikaki, and the song is called Leviathan. And there's a really funky part in the song. I play drums, there's a little funky drum part in the song, and it's already been tabbed out by people. But like a lot of these Guitar Pro tabs that people do in the community, a company will grab the tab and put it behind either a paywall or a subscription wall and basically say, hey, you can listen to this tab and you can hang out with the tab as long as you have access to the web. But if you want it for yourself, you need to sign up or you need to pay. And I really wanted to print off the drum notations for it, because there's a section that I really want to figure out, and I'm having a hard time hearing what they're doing because it's out of a style that I'm not used to, which is they do like a little techno style drums, and it's really hard for me to identify all the nuance in it. So I went to Ultimate Guitar, looked for it, found it. It's a Guitar Pro file, but I could not get the file. I couldn't get the file from the site because it wanted me to sign up for a subscription or whatever in the hell. So I did not do that. So I used AI to find out where it targeted the file to pull it in, because as the website loads, it looks for that Guitar Pro, because what they should do is get the Guitar Pro file, use AI, come up with another way to encrypt it and use a different type of program to convert it to something else. And then whenever Ultimate Guitar shoots and tries to get the file, it would get something that's not Guitar Pro 5. But what it does is it aims at Guitar Pro 5 from some server, pulls it into the middle. So I'll kind of show you. I don't know how to spell GP5. Okay, so I put it in there. Don't need that. GP5. There we go. Okay, so Ultimate Guitar, pull it up, and right here, what's going to load in the middle, it's a Guitar Pro 5 file. So it's like looking for it, and then it pulls it in. Well, by pushing F12, you pull up your console, and you can look for where it's getting that file. Well, they've got it hidden under a bunch of crap. So what I had to do is have, in console, I had Gemini write me a little code so that I could find out what it was and download it. So we got the Guitar Pro 5 file that way. I don't feel bad about it because they didn't write the tab. It was written out by the community, and they put it behind a wall. Anyway, okay, so back to the game. We've got the game. Let's go ahead and copy the code. Let's put it for the verifier. I've given you the original document, and here is the modified version. Don't do anything with it until I tell you what to do. Yeah, it made me feel like a half-ass hacker. I know it's simple and I know it's dumb. Oh, see, in our action plan, we don't have any verification. In the action plan, make sure to make a verification so that we can make sure that the coder adhered to your plan as well as didn't change any of the other code. This verification action plan will go to a AI verifier who will compare the code. Let's get a verification action plan. While we're waiting, I'm kind of curious. Yeah, that's a little better. It's still busy, but that's what it is. Start. I wish you would have put it on top. Suck. Verification plan. I like it. I like it when it's big. That's what I said. One of the things I did last night, which was cool, is I remember a game called Lords of the Realm, first version, like one on PC back in 90 shit, 5 or 4 or some shit. Anyway, so I remembered it. And then I told, oh, not good. Let's go ahead and get our verification. Something's wrong. Oh. Oh, something's really wrong. All right, so let's go back to the verifier. Let's go ahead and start over with the verifier. Upload that file. Get the code. Copy it. Here's the original file. Here, I will also upload the modified version. Don't do anything with them until I tell you what to do. Something went wrong. Okay, what the hell is up? Let's start a new prompt. See what's going on. I'm uploading files. Here's the original file. I will upload the modified file. Do not do anything with them until I give you instructions. Okay, so it's got it. Compare the two files. We're going to look at see what was changed. Here's the instructions. Okay, so we gave it the verification instructions, told it we were going to. Let's see if it adhered. It's asking me, I already gave it to you. Okay, so let's do it again. There's the original. There's the modified version. I don't know why it's acting funky. All right, I'm going to switch accounts. Put this on Pro. Upload this guy. Get the code. Copy it. Here's the original file. Here is a modified version. Let me know that you got them both. Don't do anything with them. Yeah, probably I screwed up with the tab thing. No? Let's go ahead and close that one. Okay. Luckily it has everything. Let's see if we can, third time's a charm. Compare the two files. We're trying to find out if the coder did a good job. Here are the verification notes. I don't know what was happening, if I was reaching a token limit or what. Okay, we've got a pass. Got a pass. We have a pass. Safe, safe, safe. All right. Let's go ahead and get the code. Go to our web pad. Put it in there. Go ahead and save as. Go ahead and open it. Paste it in the right place. Delete the old version. Rename the new version. Okay. I dig it, I think. I don't know. We'll find out later. I'll have to sit on it and think about it. Okay, so yes, it did the foot. It says it's a foot. It says what to do on the thing. It's got the number. I don't like the number highlighted above that. I want it underneath. I don't like that the start is underneath it. I'd rather have it across it. I'm going to make a checklist. So in Canvas, we're going to make a checklist of stuff to do for an action plan. First part is on the white starting token, we want start across the emoji, like in the middle of the emoji. We want it to say start, and we want the multipliers on the other white tokens to be similar. So put that as the first to do on the list on a markdown deal in the canvas area, please. The next thing we want to do is here, when you mouse over it, we want this to be dynamic and say what you're doing currently, and then like a little box saying what it does during the action token thing, because they're kind of dual use. Okay, the other action plan was completed. These are changes that'll be next. So make me a markdown document for that. Hopefully it understands, because what it did instead was modify the action plan that we already did, that we already completed. We didn't tell it. Now, with a bigger, like a normal project, I have a whole nother tab that all it does is keep an active Bible of everything that we've done in the project. Oh, it's not right. Okay, you don't understand what I need. I need a new document. This new document talks about the change I just talked about. And not an action plan, just a document saying we need to make an action plan that makes this change. Because we already have the changes in the last action plan. In fact, here is the current code so you have a reference. It might have already have too much context, and it might be doing context bleed. So we might just start again with a new technical lead, because it's one of my rules is usually 3 mistakes that are the AI's fault. You need to start a new tab. 3 times is about it. Now, if it has a legitimate, like 2 different problems are different, or the problem is in your understanding, or if the problem is a human error, then that 3 strikes you're out rule doesn't apply. But if it makes 3 of the same mistakes, if it does the same thing 3 times, then abandon it. Start a new conversation with a new AI. Let's see. Let's just see what it's talking about. I think it's got it right.
Requirement specification, visual refinements and HUD update. Status, pending implementation target code base, mild 4 fixed 4.html. Overview. We need to generate an action plan to implement specific visual overrides for white tokens, start and multipliers, and to upgrade the HUD action panel to match the board's visual fidelity. 1 white token visual overrides. The current implementation treats icons as simple strings. We need to split the base icon from the text overlay to achieve the desired look. A white start token. Current state, renders a star or a specific icon string. Requirement. Base icon, must be the standard grass emoji, sheaf of rice. Overlay, the text.
Awesome. It understands. Okay, so next part. Also, we want to add to this document what we want to do with the numbers, which are the balance numbers. One second. I had a dog in the inside of my wires. I hate it when he does that. Oh, he's about to get in there again. 1 second. Okay, I think I got it. Sorry about that. Didn't expect it. He's a damn fool. Well, he's blind. He's blind. He's like completely blind. So he'll get in the wires and then starts losing his shit because he's in the wires. Okay. Crap. Okay. The next change that we want to add to this document are the balance numbers. The balance numbers, we want them visual, but right now they're in the middle of where the cubes are going. So they get covered up. So maybe we can put them the same height as the squares where the placeholders for where cubes go, and we can make them a shade lighter or darker depending on the type of hex, so that it's not too off-putting, that we can kind of see it in the background, but that it's also big. The next part that we also want to do is on the actions themselves, we want the tooltip to be somewhat dynamic. When we're in the dispense phase, we want the tooltip to say foot, and then what we're doing in the phase, such as place cubes adjacent to the foot token, but underneath that in a maybe squared off from the rest, or rectangled off from the rest, for it to say what the action does during the action phase. Let's see, what else? On the bottom left, we want a player aid, which shows the icon and then a dash and then the name of the icon and what it does in the action phase. I think there's an example there might be an example in the player aid. If there's not, I'll have to provide you with an example. No, I don't think there is a player aid that you can see in the rule book, so I'll have to upload that. But for now, just add it to the document on what we want to do. Okay. So I think that's what I want to do for now. We're going to stop the stream there. That's our next part of the project. I think we've made a lot of headway. It does look a little bit busy, but I think some of that is what we're used to. We're used to it not looking this busy and it just having letters and stuff. Maybe I'm crazy. I don't know. I got to get used to what they look like also. I kind of like the idea. Well, it says grassland. Maybe we need to put grassland above and then a little cow or whatever underneath it. I want it where it says this is a little bit bolder. I don't know. We'll make those changes in the future. Oh, before I forget, let's go ahead and save this document. We'll export it to let me go ahead and share it to myself. Okay, so now we have that document for next time. We'll take another look at it, see if we're okay with it. There's definitely want to change those. We'll make the changes, then make an action plan and get a coder to do what we need it to do. All right, we're gonna end it there. How do you turn this damn thing off?